What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Martian and Ozzy podcast. I am the Martian, joined by my co-host, as always, Ozzy. This week, we're going to be talking about the 12 fights on the Tsarukyan versus Gamrot card going down this weekend from the UFC Apex. Ozzy, how we doing this week, my man?
Pretty good. I'm back training. I'm back in full swing. I threw out my back today, but it's all good, just the first step on the road to peak performance. But yeah, good back to back, I guess, fight night events here. I like now that there's like a flow that the UFC has. Like now it looks like almost monthly we'll have a fight night event outside the Apex. So I like that, a little traveling show that they got going on, and it usually brings the better UFC cards like we saw last week when there is a crowd.
Damn, I hope you're not getting old on us, Ozzy, throwing out your back. What is it, your first few days back at jiu-jitsu? Is that why?
I mean, I've thrown my back out before, like deadlifting and stuff. Actually my last fight, MMA fight that I ever, was scheduled for. I threw out my back like maybe like 20 days before, like squat. It was actually not deadlifting, it was squatting. So no, it's happened to me multiple times before. So I don't know what it is, but I'll be good. It's all good.
Probably poor deadlifting form. If you ever need some tips, hit me up.
Yeah, I
But
pulled 425, so that's like what, 4 That's pretty good. That was
um,
pretty good. I was like
yeah, that's about it.
165. That was a pretty good
I think
pull.
5.
That was a pretty good pull.
Yeah, we'll work on that technique. We'll get you back in fighting shape. But pretty good card this week. Last week's card, it was a good card. A lot of finishes, a lot of knockouts. But I did manage to lose on it. Few bad bets. Few that didn't really go our way. Guram being the most controversial one for sure. But obviously some pretty bad bets on Jasmine. On Kelly was no value. Tim Means no value. And the Duran Win Hoss fight, no value in that going the distance. And then Dawkins no scorecards fucked me pretty badly. But yeah, Ozzy, how'd you do?
So I dropped the unit. I mean, it's funny how I found a way to drop the unit. I mean, it was just dumb. Like I had most of the good reads. I should have just been a little bit heavier. Like I made RoboCop my biggest bet. And that was that obviously that one easily. And then obviously the best bet also won the over 1.5 in Duraev versus Buckley. But I mean, and I didn't end up tracking Emmett, but I definitely bet Emmett 220, 215. So mistake on my end. But yeah, just drop the unit, whatever, is what it is. But if people are tailing the picks last week, Wells, uh, Rodriguez, Buckley, Ramos, like Emmett, mostly good women's MMA. Big L there, but all good overall. I made out pretty good in the card overall. Good live betting too. I,
Yeah,
I ended up adding on Emmett in main event. I hedged off a little bit late, but it was definitely a good event for me.
I tailed that Buckley Derive over for a straight bet winner, so I appreciate that one. My best bet didn't work out so well. Um, and yeah, a lot of underdogs came through, but we weren't on the right ones, and the decisions that were bad. I mean, I thought all three close decisions were bad. Last thing I'll say is, yeah, I thought Gloria won, I thought Cater won, and I thought Guran won. So, these judges, man, it's getting bad out there. We're talking about it every week. There's apparently going to be a meeting about judging coming up in the next couple weeks, and maybe we see some improvement out of that. But man, it's been rough out there lately with these decisions. So tread lightly if you think these fights are going to go to decision. But that's enough about last week. Let's get into these fights this week. We got 12 of them from the Apex back in the small cage. First fight, women's strawweight division. Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Jinyu Fry. Fry's the favorite, minus 225. Demopoulos plus 190 on the comeback. So, we're done with chalk at women's MMA. Ozzy and I made a blood pack. You know how, like, the Italians used to induct themselves in the mob? They cut their hand and, like, shake their hand with the blood and everything. Ozzy and I did one of them. We're not letting each other bet women's MMA past minus 200. And we're going to make it our life's mission to, pass that lesson along to our friends, too. We're not letting each other bet women's MMA past minus 200. Too many sins have been committed. So there's no option to bet Jinyu Fry in this fight, even though she is the more technical fighter. Probably is the better striker, wrestler here. But Demopoulos has a way of, pulling wins out of her ass. And, maybe that's a state, something she's mastered in her other job, her other profession. But, she knows how to submit people. She knows how to win fights in, pretty stupid fashion, which is great for women's MMA. And I actually do have a bet on this fight. I have
Oh
a bet
no.
on the no score. Yes, yes, but, this is a bet we were talking about, on Chadley's Space last night. Demopoulos no scorecards plus 175. I mean, Jinyu Fry is not finishing anybody, and I think that if anybody's finishing the fight, it's Demopoulos. There's a super high chance this bet just gets refunded and it doesn't win, but in the rare case of any of these women finishing the fight, I think it will be Demopoulos with some stupid submissions, so I'm happy to roll with that, and that's enough with that fight. Ozzy, any betting angle for you here?
Th this fight is such a clear pass that, it shouldn't have even been, put together. I mean, the main thing is that Vanessa Demopoulos is crazy tough, right? She's very, very tough, okay? And she's getting some action on her. This thing was gone from 235 literally, like, 2 days ago to 190 now, so people like it. But, like, I I just don't I can't invest in this fight. Like, you can't do it. I mean, the fact that Jinyu Fry sub is cheaper than Demopolis sub is crazy. So I mean, if you want to bet the submission line, go ahead. But I mean, it's selling you like with the over. Like, yeah, you can't even bet the over in this fight because if something dumb happens and like you said, your bet cashes, like how are you gonna feel good about laying that kind of chalk? Like, no way. So I mean, I'm not even gonna watch this fight. Like for me, the card start whenever they say the card starts, it starts half an hour after that. Personally, no disrespect to these women, but nobody gives a fuck about either of these girls fighting anybody. But I will say, Frey or Demopolis, like she's fighting Frey, who's a 105er, so maybe a former 105er, so maybe she has a little bit more success than in some of her other fights. But then again, she got held down by McKenna, who's a 105 Hobbit. But hopefully she doesn't bust out any cartwheels in this one. But yeah, definitely pass, pass, pass. God bless you though.
I don't know. I think I see an investment opportunity. You can't pass that up. And as
Sure.
we learned last week, Maria Oliveira, you don't have to be the better fighter. You just have to be enthusiastic to win these, women's MMA decisions. So that's on the table here. It really is. That's
All
enough
right.
about that fight. You're about to give me, the curtain call on that one. Bantamweight division, Bautista-Kelleher. Batista's the favorite, minus 170. Boom, Kelleher plus 145. So New York guy Kelleher, you got any faith in the underdog, Ozzy?
Earlier in the week, I was thinking Kelleher was a good play, and watching that parent fight, or thinking about the parent fight, was kind of thinking that obviously Brian Kelleher is another level, from parent. Obviously, power with the hands, has shown wrestling at 135, good guillotine, good submission game, all that. But, when you kind of take into consideration the fact that Kelleher does not like going down to 135, I think the Parlay fight was the only fight that was actually at 135. The conditioning and cardio and the ability to mix it up and the elbow game that is sweeping the nation, sweeping MMA gyms left and right, that Bautista showed, it kind of made me bearish on Kelleher just because I mean the guy definitely tires out. If he can't land punches in the pocket, his offense from there is not very effective, right? He doesn't really have that much of a kick game. And he'd have to rely on, consistently wrestling a guy like Batista, but Batista is pretty athletic. I feel pretty agile, does not accept, kind of just getting grinded out. And I think will make it difficult for Kelleher to want to grapple. And then on the feet, just more diverse. Like I said, the clinch game. He's good with the elbows. He's got good kicks as well. And he's got some punches as well. So I'm kind of thinking that Kelleher's going to take the L here. I'm not very confident in him. Even Kevin Kroom was like outlanding him at distance, which is never a good sign. But yeah, just Seal Bautista, he got clipped by Trevin Jones, and I was fading Bautista there. But Trevin Jones, Southpaw, I think it was a close fight overall up until there. And Kelleher, even though he's you proclaim, have to have good power, when he does go down to 135 and as the fight does play out, I don't think he's gonna be cracking this Mexican chin, and I don't really trust him in decision. So I'll go with Batista for the win.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with mostly everything there. You think it's going to decision, right, Ozzy? Is that what I'm picking
I
up?
mean, I think it'd probably go to decision, but I mean, Kelleher, if he starts getting tired and there, Batista in that third round against Perrin was, I mean, he wasn't really breathing hard and he was still mixing it up. So, I mean, I could see a finish, but I would lean towards decision.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards decision as well, and especially when you see the price, man. Like this, they're pricing this fight like the finish is a lot more likely than I give it, and it's a lot more likely. And sometimes or most of the time, I'm usually wrong when I think it goes the distance is like 10% off. Obviously, I'm missing something there. But, I just don't see either of these guys as a big finisher. Bautista was, going against Perrin in his last fight, a short notice guy that he was clearly better than and just didn't really look to pour it on at any point. He does have those good elbows, though, that Ozzy was talking about, so look out for maybe a cut or something like that for Bautista. But Kelleher, like Ozzy was saying, was getting outlanded by Kroom. That was a bad sign. And then when he's on top, he was dominating Pilarte in that fight and just never really looked to pass guard or to really pour it on, get a finish there at any point. So I just don't see either guy, being likely to get a finish here. I don't put they have the fight ending inside the distance as the more likely outcome in this fight. I think that's way wrong. So there's definitely going to be some prop value on these lines. I mean, the GTD straight up, or maybe Kelleher decision at plus 450. I mean, they're really discrediting Kelleher's chance to win a decision here. So I bet the over in this fight. I think it's very likely to head to decision. I agree that it should be Bautista, but I just like the over 135 here. I got like a unit and a half on that, and I think it should go over barring anything crazy. Next fight, flyweight division here. JP Buys taking on Cody Durden. Really closely lined fight here. Two-way action coming in. Buys minus 115. Durden minus 105. So I think a close pick-em-ish line is pretty accurate here. I've been thinking about this fight a lot, and I can't see a super clear edge. I don't see a confident pick either. I'm leaning towards Durden because I think he is more durable for one thing. We have seen Buys get hurt a lot lately. I mean, he got dropped 3 times versus Silva, 4 times versus Jackson. Obviously going through the divorce. Cheyenne changed her last name. He's got to be weighing on him mentally, obviously. And then Durden also, kind of became a mockery of the MMA Twitter after getting flying kneed. And Mokaev, kind of serving him a lesson. And that was really recently. Durden, got hit with that flying knee like less than 3 months ago. So he's getting back in there quick. And I think the grappling here will be really interesting to play out. The striking, it'll be sloppy. I give a slight edge to Durden, but man, you can't be confident in either one of these guys winning the striking. The grappling, though, I think is going to be really interesting. Durden is the better wrestler. JP Buys has the better jujitsu. So I think Durden will hit the takedowns here, but I don't think he's going to keep them. I think that he's going to be at risk for getting swept or submitted from bottom, and that's going to turn the fight into an interesting scramble type of fight back and forth. I'm interested to see the cardio dynamic. We have seen Durden kind of slow down a little bit. He did get a second win against Aori to pull up that third round, but that was by a real thin margin. I mean, he could have arguably lost that third round and lost that decision, but the judges disagreed. He thought he won. So, man, both of these
That's
guys.
another fucking fight. If that fight happens in 2022, there's no way Durden gets that decision win. No chance at all. The guy didn't do anything in round three. What the fuck did he do in round three?
That's
You
true.
won that fight. You won that fight because of fucking Saul Del Mato and that bullshit ass judging.
Yeah, I have no problem giving it to Aori there. Infamously, Ozzy would have swept me in 3-0 disagreeing picks there, but
Easily. Easily.
Durden pulled off the victory for me there. So
That was when I used to get split decisions on my side,
that time
bro.
is over.
This shit,
Yeah,
this shit's bullshit, dude. This split decision thing, now you. Before I used to be confident that I'm always getting it. Now it's like
we're due. We're due.
yeah. I mean, I thought that I wasn't gonna get the Kulabao one. When I ended up betting Kulabao late, I was like, what the fuck? When they started saying this split decision, yeah, I gotta go on a run soon.
Yeah,
It's coming.
we thought we were getting
It's coming.
Guram, but we thought wrong.
I really did. I've heard
Yeah,
Dean.
so I'm going Durden with a pick,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
I
You
really
spent
don't
way too
see
much time on that fight when you don't even know what's gonna happen in
I
that
don't
fight.
see enough of an edge to go for a bet here.
Exactly. Boom. I'm gonna pick up right where you left off. The odds on this fight are entirely accurate because Durden, he's has horrible striking. And JP Buys is a or Bays, how the fuck you want is a fake fighter. Like, I mean, the way the guy turns away from shots, and kind of he's just a front runner, man. And I could see him front running his way into the mount on Cody Durden or locking up a guillotine or something like that. And some people will say, "Oh, Ozzy, but he from Montel, hard 15." Cool, man. I mean, I don't know. That was an outlier. Like, yeah, he took a few good shots in there and all that. But the thing is, like Montel, I don't know what to say about. Like, the guy doesn't finish anybody. Like, he finished what's the guy's name?
Boom.
Schrader. Sure, and boom, yeah. But like he's got there's something wrong with him. I don't know what the deal with him it is. But either way, it doesn't matter. I don't really have a pick for this fight. Some guys I know like JP Bays, not me. I'm not investing in him at all. I'd actually take Durden if I could get plus money, just because I think he could wrestle better actually when fatigued. But he's just a bonehead. Like this guy is just low, low, low fight IQ, so he can easily get submitted here by JP Bays. So I'm gonna pass in this fight. And yeah, you don't got to pick. You say you got to bet on this fight? No,
No,
right?
but I'm
No, no,
picking
no.
you. It sounds like you're picking Durden too. Gun to your
I
head,
I
pick
probably would
before.
pick Durden. Yeah, I can't. I don't trust. I mean, he's an idiot though. I would not bet money on either of these guys. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's no way you could bet on Cody. Whatever. Move on. I got to bet in the next fight. I got to pick.
Okay, well, we'll go right into that one. Morozov versus Paiva. Paiva is the underdog plus 112. Morozov minus 132 as the favorite. What's the pick here? What's the bet?
Okay, there's a pick here. All right. So I like both these guys, but Paiva's been getting his face smashed. And at 135, like I'm not sure if 135 is for him because I don't know if it's like the power, like because the guy has got no defense. Okay, none, zero. And he's not even that fast. Like usually when I expect like a guy moving up, I expect to see a speed advantage at some point. And I haven't been seeing that at all. Now I don't know. Maybe that's because the guys he's been fighting, are too, faster as well for sure. But like I haven't seen any benefit from Paiva in his move up, other than like not even the conditioning. Because yeah, he out cardio Kyler, but he was getting destroyed in that fight for the most part. And the thing is, Morozov, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Morozov?
that's right.
Yeah. Um, I like him and I bet him a few times. And last time I got off the train and was fortunate in getting that Douglas win. I mean, Douglas, did his thing there, but wasn't looking good early. But the thing is, Morozov, he just knows what he wants to do. He knows that he wants to get this to the ground, and it's just not hard to get on the hips of Julian Paiva. Like this fight is like I kind of see it as like Morozov is a better version of Zumagulov, and he's just gonna be able to box it Paiva early. I feel Paiva's not gonna be able to track him down, and when he does get close, I think Morozov is gonna have a very very easy time getting takedowns. And Paiva also, when he looks to get up, like he just gives so many high danger opportunities that I feel like I could easily see Morozov with the back control like he had against Taha, I think, on multiple occasions. And at this money line, I think it's very fair. Although it's been like kind of going back and forth. It's been minus 130, then it'll go up to 40, then some action on Paiva will come back. But I don't see it, man. Like I definitely, I mean, I'm in on Morozov, even though he took a shellacking in his last fight. The guy's pretty durable. He didn't give up at all. I mean, he was getting destroyed there by Douglas at some point. But I just feel in decisions, I mean, Paiva's 14-2 in decisions, which is pretty impressive. But the guy's not winning a decision here, I don't think. Like Morozov, even with the 2022 judging, like he's gonna get dominant positions here on Paiva, I feel, and get takedowns whenever he wants, because Paiva doesn't even like make you work for it that much. Like it's just so easy to take him down. Like you actually get tired. That's what happened to Kyler. Kyler got actually tired from the lack of defense by Paiva. It was actually it's astonishing when that happens. But I don't think the same thing is gonna happen here. So yeah, we got Morozov money line.
That is incredible that he's 14-1, but he's got I'm looking at 3 splits. The Zalgas was a razor close fight. A lot of people thought he lost that, and the Kyler Phillips probably should have been a draw. So there's some inaccuracies in that for at face level. I'm in agreement. I mean, the striking has potential to be close, but even at the striking, I might give Morozov the edge. I mean, he's looking aggressive. Paiva has always been kind of a tentative, low volume type of striker, and Paiva did look like he had good defensive grappling down at 125, but he's just not as agile at 135. He's not the same athlete, and I think that we've seen that defensive grappling look pretty worrisome in a couple of his fights, especially the Kyler Phillips fight. Even when Phillips was starting to tire out in round 2 there, he was still getting takedowns and controlling Paiva. So I feel like Morozov has a good, safety net of getting those takedowns, and he might even look like the favorite in the striking. So I mean, I think this line is a little confusing. I bet Morozov minus 140, and I think I might be inclined to add a little more because I'm confused, man. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about they're betting Morozov. People in our circle are backing him. I'm not sure where this Paiva money is coming from, but it's starting to concern me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I got Morozov here, and I think anything under minus 170 is good. So that's enough about that fight. Um, Moving on to the next one, we got 145 TJ Brown taking on Shilinian. That's all I'm calling him. We got TJ Brown as the favorite, minus 190. Shilinian plus 165. Action coming in on Shilinian. China's been on a good run in MMA lately. The road to the UFC and the past few UFC fights have come through, except for Nali Yang, of course. But Ozzy, it's your turn. Oh, wait, no, it's my turn to start this one off. God damn it! I was hoping that you could start this one off. I don't really have a whole lot of opinions on this one. I mean, I think that Shalinian is primarily a grappler. This guy doesn't really look to throw strikes at all. That's a pretty concerning part of his game. Is he is this super athletic jack guy. He looks like a good athlete. He's a decent grappler, but he just doesn't throw strikes. So TJ Brown probably has the edge on the feet, and I do think Brown's probably the better overall grappler as well, but he's also known to make some bonehead moves in the grappling. He's going back down to 145 here. He did beat Charles Rosa on short notice at 155. And Brown at 145, man, just not impressed with me. Obviously, got that fortunate decision over Kamaka. He lost to Danny Chavez, who we learned recently is not that good. And then he obviously got choked out by that pathetic choke to Jordan Griffin. So this dude has just never impressed me at 145. So I'm not interested in laying chalk here at all. It is China or pass. And with the good run that China's been on lately, I don't think the dog shot on Shalinian here is too crazy. So could very well see a competitive grappling fight. Any faith in Shalinian here, Ozzy?
No, I mean this fight. I mean the last time Chilean fought, yo. So I supposedly I hear that. What's the China? What's Chilean's nickname, dude? Come on.
I don't
Is it
know. Uh,
the,
let's
what
see.
the
I'm
fuck?
looking him up.
Does it
Wolverine.
Wolverine? Okay, so Wolverine apparently he fought Soriano in this last fight, and now he's doing his camp at Sanford MMA. And Soriano's never getting back into the UFC after that last performance. So, tough double whammy there for him. I mean, insane that Shalinian was I mean, this guy fucking sucks. Let me not sugarcoat it, but he's jacked. Wolverine, right? I assume that's how he got his nickname. He's absolutely jacked. And he's one of the most boring fighters on the roster. I don't know. He must like be the nephew of G. Like, I don't know. Someone's got Dana White by the balls, or Mick Maynard, maybe an easier target. Because how the hell is this guy in the UFC roster? But either way, I honestly feel TJ Brown's gonna win this fight pretty easily. It might not look easy at all moments, but at the end of every round, I feel like you're gonna be like, damn, that was kind of like an easy win for TJ Brown. But similarly to Cody Durden, TJ Brown, he's got his heads full of rocks as well. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he did impress me in his last fight against Kamaka because you know he
No, it was
like
Rosa.
he oh, Rose was his last fight? I don't even remember that fight. But the Kamaka fight was good because he got dropped, he got back up, he'll get taken down, he'll get back up, and all that. I don't even remember the Rosa fight that much. I just remember calf kicks, right? That happens in every Rosa fight. And takedowns. That happens in every Rosa fight as well, I
And
think.
then Rosa comes
Um,
back to win the third round after losing the first two.
Right, yeah, he was clearly losing the earlier in the fight. But yeah, I mean, I feel that Wolverine could probably survive until the bell. So why don't we just take the over or the goes the distance here? So, but I got to move on from that fight. There's no way. I'm not watching this fight either.
What
Like
is the
what
over?
uh goes the distance is
Minus two.
minus
Oof.
180.
Yeah, I mean,
How is it gonna finish? Who's finishing here?
probably maybe Brown sub, honestly.
Bro, Brown KO is 650.
What's his sub is 320. Yeah,
Three
there's no value.
325.
I mean,
He's not gonna
I
submit
think it should
him.
go over, but these guys, yeah.
What submission
I'm
has
looking
he ever fucking done?
he submitted a guy on the Contender Series, didn't he, with an arm
Oh, yeah,
triangle?
yeah, yeah. That was, like, in the 3rd round.
Um
I mean, maybe. Alright, I gotta go to the next fight, come on.
but this I'm looking at pictures of Shlinian, dude, like if people believe that these UFC fighters aren't on steroids, it's like, come on, man.
Stop hating,
This
dude.
guy
Stop
I'm
hating,
how is
dude.
that? I love steroids. I love
They're
PEDs. I
not he's
love
not on
steroids. I encourage
steroids, dude. He used to be on steroids. That's what you don't understand.
no, no. You got to look at some pictures.
No,
Um,
dude. He's not on nothing.
next fight. Right, right. When have Chinese fighter or athletes ever been, known for using PEDs? That's a ridiculous claim.
They
But
aren't.
the next fight, last fight on the prelims, a good one here in the light heavyweight division. We got the Don Tafon Chukwi taking on Carlos Ulberg. Really closely lined fight here, except for Tafon's been getting some action today. Minus 125 for Tafon, and we got Ulberg at plus 105 now. So, are you in agreement with the steam, Ozzy, or you think you're interested in Ulberg now? He's at
Hell
plus.
hell yeah, that steam is right. I mean, they didn't tell me. I go to the gym for a few hours, go to, have dinner, and these guys are steaming it without letting me know. Um,
How dare they?
how dare they? But yeah, I mean, I feel it as well. Because I mean, Oberg, the thing is, this guy does not have enough MMA experience, and even if you want to counter me and say Tafan does not either, Imma just tell you that I mean, I know for a fact Tafon, like, trains way more than Oberg, like, he just has, like, a better background, and this guy been grinding, so I feel like he just has, like, more experience actually, though, because Oberg, like I mean, the guy is cute, he's built, and, he could fight, so they got him, they fast tracked him, after he got into that Izzy camp and all that, but his MMA game is not there. You even see in the time he's on top of Fabio in his last fight, like the guy doesn't even know what he's doing, or he doesn't know if he wants to progress position or how to progress position, or even if he just wants to strike. Like if you don't want to play BJJ, cool, but do something on top. Drop elbows, drop some punches, kick the leg. I don't know, do something. Point is, there's gonna be a small cage here. Allberg was circling around way too much last time. Tafan is slow as a slug. Like this guy, crazy slow because he's just so short and compact. But he still has a 77-inch reach on him. He's consistent with coming forward. And he's actually pretty good with the hand fighting and the parrying and coming in like he'll switch stances as well, right? He'll sometimes fight southpaw, sometimes fight orthodox, chops the legs, hits the body, is great in the clinch. And on the ground, he's not bad on the ground. Like I would be surprised to see him either put on his back for a prolonged period of time. I just would be surprised at Tafan not winning the grappling when it does happen. So I think
Of
the main
course.
concern here is high kicks from Allberg. Right, he does do a good job of throwing the high kick out there and the body kick to keep people from attacking him all that much. Um, but yeah, I just think that as long as Tafan is good with the hand fighting coming in and doesn't eat a right cross bomb, at some point, I think he should be able to chip away at Ulberg, hit that body, take him to deep waters, chop at those legs, and win the fight. But now where the odds are going, it's kind of correcting to where it should be. I mean, there's been a ton of steam from plus money Tafan to now, clearly favored Tafan. If it doesn't come back, I got a little bit, but if it doesn't come back, I won't bet it and I'll just watch. But yeah, I could see Tafan picking up a late finish here. I just don't think Ulberg is overly that great, and I feel like, I mean, it is a coin flip fight, but I definitely favor Tafan.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with most of that there. Tafon is kind of like the here's a comparison, Ozzy. I'm interested to see if you agree. He's like the Bartolo Colon of MMA right now, where it's like he's a funny looking guy, but like underneath all that, he knows he's got some skill. I really love like the sound effects that he uses when he throws strikes too. I mean, that's huge, especially in in the Apex this weekend. I think that those sound effects will be really good. And then Ulberg, man, this dude gets hit so much. Like he has no idea how to avoid punches. It was absolutely hilarious how accurate Kennedy and Zetchiku was. I mean, it looked like there were magnets attached to Kennedy's fists and Ulberg's forehead because every punch that he threw would just connect. And Ulberg had no head movement. He doesn't really block punches, parry or slip them or anything. I don't know if he's working on improving that, but we certainly didn't see any, signs of improvement in the Sharon fight. He just paced himself a little better, which I guess was impressive. I did nail the read on that fight as well. Hit Oldberg decision plus 550, and he clearly was terrified of gassing out and losing again, and he decided to fight in the most risk adverse, way possible. Now he's got a more tough opponent against him, and he's gonna have to, up that tempo. He's not gonna be able to treat Chukwi like he was Sharon. It's gonna be a much closer fight. And if Chukwi doesn't pressure and he stays at at length, he's gonna get lit up with strikes. I mean, Oldberg is longer, he's faster, he will throw out more pure output. But if Chukwi can put him on the back foot, can pressure him,
It's
can make him
Nchukwi. It's Nchukwi. It's
no, it's just
Nchukwi.
Chukwi. There's no. I have
No,
a
it's
I have a
Nchukwi.
silent letter in my name. I think I know. I'm pretty sure it's Chukwi. Um, but
Nchukwi.
anyway, no. I don't think so. We'll see this weekend though, and Anik will help us out. So I see Chuki getting him on the back foot. He's gonna pressure. He's gonna mix in that clinch striking. He kind of mixes in some nice knees from the clinch. And if he can make this fight ugly, make that small cage feel small on Olberg, and maybe even mix in a takedown. Don't forget, Chukwi hit some takedowns on slow Mike Rodriguez in their fight and controlled him for a little bit. So it's not out of the question that Chukwi mixes in a takedown here. So I don't even think the striking is that big of an advantage for Olberg here, and that's why I like Chukwi because I think he can make the striking close, and then he has the grappling upside potentially as well. And I think he's just more comfortable with his pace. He can go with the 15 minutes at a more comfortable pace. He
Oldberg
knows his
can't
body.
beat Nigerians. That's it.
Well, he's not from Nigeria.
He can't beat Africans.
There you go. What
Africans.
is it?
All right.
Cameroon? That's yeah. I still think that counts.
You sure?
Um, I don't think he can beat them. Um,
Okay.
And, there was a holiday pretty recently that has been, going well, for one demographic of people. So, with
Ha!
that being
That
said,
was a good
I'm
one
taking
last week. That was a good one last week, dude. That Juneteenth shit was rolling. That shit was good.
yeah, it was. Well, I mean, we really gotta, identify these fucking
I love these things. All right, let's go. Come on.
I got Chukwi money line. I got in earlier today. Ozzy missed the message. I sent him the information, but he missed it. I got in minus 104. So enough about that. Main card time. We got Rodolfo Vieira taking on Chris Curtis. We have Curtis is the favorite here, minus 123. Vieira plus 103. Steam coming in on Rodolfo Vieira here. Super grappler versus striker matchup we got going on here. Chris Curtis, been having a lot of success in the UFC. Very, happy to be wrong about my original assessment of him.
Very, very
But
wrong.
this is
Very wrong.
yeah, this is a whole new matchup. It's a matchup that he's going to be facing. A dedicated grappler, unlike guys like Haas and Allen, who are more content to stay at that striking range. They paid a severe mistake for that, thinking they could box with Chris Curtis. They both got hurt, and Vieira will get hurt if he stays at range here as well. But Vieira's last fight against Stolfitz, it was a while ago, but I saw clear improvements. I mean, his jab, his cardio, his energy usage and management was all better. I mean, it's undeniable that he looked a lot better in that fight. Now, it was against Stolzfus, who's not a great opponent, but I think good writing on the wall from Vieira there. I mean, I was skeptical about this guy's progression, but this last fight I thought was a good step in the right direction. And now talking about Curtis's defensive grappling, he has been taken down and controlled before at a lower weight class as well. Remember he fought a lot at 170. Magomed Karamov was able to outgrapple him a few times in the same year. Imagine that you lose a grappling decision to this guy, and then you got to fight him again like 4 months later,
Imagine fucking having to fight that guy twice in a year. That's some
like twice
bullshit.
within like 5 months.
That's why PFO will never fucking. Yeah, dude, that shit's horrible,
Um,
bro. PFO doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, dude.
yeah, we're gonna see some sacrifices on PFL.
Should have just done Ray Cooper versus fucking Chris
Did yeah,
Curtis,
well,
like back to
I
like
think
just
I
keep
think
doing that.
Cooper might have taken Curtis down as well. But yeah, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, but they should have just
Yeah,
kept
that they
fighting.
would they would, produce good fights. So I mean, I see Vieira as the side here. I mean, how can you be confident in Curtis's takedown defense when he hasn't shown it in so long? I mean, I think this is an easy side. I got it in plus 135, CLV up the wazoo, 32 cents right now. Just bathing in the CLV so far. So
And counting and
yeah,
counting.
yeah, I'm counting every
Still not done
every
yet.
cent. I'm counting every cent. Um,
Fucking every
but dude,
cent.
the inside the distance here is crazy. I was thinking, oh, maybe there'll be good lines on like Curtis round two, round three knockout. Nope. I mean, they're not good. They're plus 400, plus 600. Are you kidding me? Actually, no, plus 1,000 on DraftKings for round three. That's a line. So I mean, the dynamic of the fight is clear. The fight is all about takedown defense, and I think that I don't trust Curtis's takedown defense. I think Vieira, even in the Hernandez fight where he lost, he still got Hernandez down and almost had him in an arm triangle. And I think if he gets Curtis in those same positions, he's finishing that arm triangle. So I like Vieira here. I think he'll probably submit him early.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, this is a great fight. I mean, I don't know why there's some people that say that they're fans of MMA and stuff. Like they make fun of the middleweight. You know these guys, Martian. Like they're always talking shit about the middleweight division. Like I don't know. It's like a
Well, what I'll say is the middleweight, like middle pack, like we've been talking about, is way more exciting than like the top of the pack. I kind of get it. Like I'm not
I
excited to really
guess.
see Israel fight, but these middle guys, they have really good matchups.
Yeah, I mean these guys. I mean, but you know the kind of guys that I'm talking about. They just talk shit about the mid. But it's kind of weird to me because middleweight. I mean, they got Hawes. They got RoboCop.
Brendan
They got
Allen,
Fluffy, Buckley,
Brendan Allen,
Bruno
yeah,
Silva, Chitty Bang Bang, Hudolfo. Right?
Mark
I mean
Andre
Curtis.
Berriut,
Those are some fucking good ass fighters. But anyway, getting into this fight. I mean Hudolfo. I'll tell you right now, he holds a very special spot in my heart. And you know what that spot is, Martian? I'll tell you a little story here. Responsible for my first five-figure win, Rodolfo Vieira, almost 10 years ago. Rodolfo had won two or three times in a row the Jiu-Jitsu World Championships, and he was bumping up a division, right? And I look on Bookmaker, and somehow they're offering odds on the Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, and they got everybody listed. But what they don't have listed is that Rodolfo is moving up a weight class. So they do not have Rodolfo listed anywhere, but they got other at 10-1 on the weight class that he moved up. He submits everyone, runs through them. Ozzy cashes about 12 grand there on that tournament, and the rest was history. I used that bankroll allegedly to increase from there. But yeah, Hodolfo, this is when we say top tier grappler, like the toppest tier. Like he put down Anthony Fluffy Hernandez and immediately insta mounts the guy. He sees Dustin Stolz's, trying to get up from bottom half guard in the third round, jumps on his back like a fucking baboon, no offense, and just wraps up that rear naked choke. Incredible stuff. I mean, the guy's a brick. He is the original truck on top. I think when I was seeing that guy on top, I was like, man, that would be a bad truck to be under, right? I just imagine the F-150, and just being under all that pressure. But I mean, his striking has looked a little bit better. But the thing is, the guy's just so wound up, so tight that I think he should have success here as long as he doesn't like rush it. Because the thing with Curtis is, if you saw in that Brendan Allen fight, he's looking to counter, and Brendan Allen is so dumb and bad that he does not realize that every time he throws a jab, Curtis literally parries the jab and answers either with a jab of his own, a cross, something. And Brendan Allen's not is too dumb to
How could he have
know.
known that though? There was no way that Allen could have been prepared for that. I mean, got to give the guy some
No,
slack.
it's not like he trains with Henry Hooft, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um, Crazy, right? And it's not like that. Wasn't Brendan Allen the guy that took? No, that was his teammate Phil Hawes, who was like, I can't fight this guy on 1 day's notice. He's too deadly. And then Brendan Allen, like I mean, whatever. But I mean, it was just so clear to me, like the way to beat him. But the thing is, Adolfo, he's not that experienced of a striker. But I think he should be able to get in on Curtis whenever he wants. Like even when if let's say this fight goes later, like Curtis survives, like Adolfo's tired, whatever how much of a physical specimen Rodolfo is, he can still bowl over Chris Curtis at any moment in the fight. I forget what fight it was, but that what maybe it was the Dustin fight where it was like moments where I thought he was like slowing down, and then he like, or maybe it was like in the second round where he gets like a great double. Like I'm like, damn, this motherfucker is all right. He's looking good. So I
Might have
mean,
been
I like
Pachota.
Rodolfo
Didn't he
here.
fight Pachota?
Yeah, but I don't think it was that fight. I think it was the Dustin fight because the Dustin fight, I mean, it looked sketchy a few times. Like it really did. And or you know what it was? It was when Hidolfo went for that first back take when and Stoltzfus like pushed him off, and then Hidolfo immediately from half guard came up on a single leg. And so that's like the main thing here, because even if like Curtis knocks him down or like reverses him, broke Hidolfo is immediately gonna be able to single leg him from on bottom. Like he's just going to be able to. So, I mean, if you still want to bet him, you know, you got to get these plus numbers. But I mean, he should be the favorite here, Adolfo, for sure, guaranteed. Because Chris Curtis comes from that Sean Strickland. Grappling is stupid. Grappling is not is dumb. So I mean, with the over 1.5 being dog money as well, if favoring the under, they're thinking Curtis is gonna get him out of there that quickly. Like that doesn't happen with Curtis that often. And Hidolfo, I mean, he hasn't gone down from the punches. Like he probably has a solid chin, dude. Like honestly, and I don't think he wants to get finished again, like Fluffy did. So I mean, I'm gonna side with Hidolfo. Obviously, I'm gonna take all the profit that I've made off of him and maybe bet a little bit more here, or maybe on the submission line. I don't know. I got a little Hidolfo, but not as much as I want to. I've just been sleeping a little bit this week, literally. But yeah, I think Curtis, I don't think he's gonna be able to counter Hidolfo as effectively, land his body shots while also avoiding the takedowns. I mean, if he gets taken down, he's gonna give up his back because when he tries to, he's so small and compact that when he goes to get up like turtle and stuff, like Hidolfo's gonna get the angle advantage on him and slip around and either pull him back down or take his back or something like that. I'm very confident in that playing out that way.
Yeah, and he definitely has a chin. I mean, remember the kick he gave from Sapabek Safarov and then still took him down and choked him out. And I mean, this guy can eat some shit. I think he'll get him down. I think he'll submit him as well. I'm kind of scared of the over under. I think I'm passing on that and just sticking with the money line. I think it could get over quick. Next fight is the bantamweight division. We got the prodigy Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Nate Maness. Um, Umar is a huge favorite here, minus 1,200. Maness plus 650. Any faith at all in the huge underdog here? Biggest underdog on the card by far, Ozzy.
I love to see Nate, throw cousin Umar a fucking ass whooping. I kind of get annoyed by these Russians that come in that they think they're gonna blow through everybody. But I mean, Umar's pretty well rounded, man. He could fight from both stances. He's got great kicks. I mean, the kick game on the kid is outstanding, and it's not even like the flashy kick like the other one, the Uzman. I mean, the fact that that guy's name is Uzman Nurmagomedov is insane. But like the way he throws kicks is just like more showy and flashy. Like Umar has like the perfect, like he uses the kicks perfectly. Like he tries to actually land them, and throws the ones that are going to be the most effective. But I mean, the way that this fight's gonna end is, I mean, Nate he just does not defend grappling that well, and I mean, we talked to him a little bit on that Spaces, and he said that he wouldn't fight 145. But I mean, I think if he would go up to 145 and actually try to bulk up a little bit, it would be good for him because this dude's got some skinny ass legs. I mean, he's got good cardio, but I feel like there are some areas where I mean, I just don't think he's like where Bobby Green mentioned Islam getting him to the ground, and he was like, man, like he was so strong. And literally, what Bobby Green was like trying to talk about, or like the area he was saying that Islam was strong was like his like fucking groin. Like basically he was like, yo, he was squeezing he was squeezing his knees together from the top mount or some shit. And I think the same thing is gonna happen on Nate, just to bring it back full circle. I think Umar is gonna take him down. He's gonna, pin him down at some point because Nate, Nate's not that scrambly. Like he's not rolling and flipping all around him that much. So I think he's gonna tie up the legs with those tight kegels that he has and progressive position, and then eventually take his back and probably choke him.
Yeah, we talked to Nate Maness on Spaces, Sean Orr Spaces a few weeks back. Cool guy. Me and Ozzy both talked to him, asked him some questions. We'll definitely be rooting for him to have a good career. But I mean, this is a terrible matchup. Ozzy also kind of predicted this. Maness said like, "Yo, I'm gonna be the underdog essentially," and Ozzy said like, "I don't know, he might be fighting a Russian," and sure enough, he's fighting the
Yeah,
Russian.
I'm definitely betting on Nate in his next fight because what's gonna happen is the reason that I thought that when he said that is like really I don't actually make Nate that much of an underdog versus a lot of guys at 135. The ones that don't grapple, like I don't think it's that easy to pick him apart. But this is just an awful matchup, and I think he will be undervalued in his next fight.
Yeah, I agree. But Maness has had a really rough round one in all three of his fights. Got lit up by Sanders, got dropped versus Gravely, got taken down, his back taken, mounted, smashed with ground and pound versus Munoz. And the Munoz fight was all I needed to see. I mean, Munoz is a good wrestler, grappler, but he was able to take him down. He got to the back clinch. He got him flat on the mat. He got mount. He was landing ground and pound. I mean, he really dominated him on the mat. And I think Umar is capable of doing the exact same thing, probably in a quicker and more efficient manner. And like Ozzy was saying, Umar's kicks are just next level. This guy is really special. I just can't wait to see this guy continue to fight. And I think he's getting him out of here. I don't. Sean Orr did present a good thing. Is Munoz was going for the choke, but Maness was fighting the choke well, and he ended up just spamming ground and pound. And the same thing could happen here. Umar goes for the choke, and he can't quite get it, so he just decides to pound away. I'm thinking this fight is ending quick. I think the under 1.5 might or probably is going to cash at plus 125 here. I mean, I really think this one is going to end soon. I mean, the inside the distance is only minus 190. I don't know about you, Ozzy. That's 65% for inside the distance. I think it's a lot higher than that. I think it's more like 80. Um, so I mean, I think Umar is gonna, make this pretty easy work and get another quick finish in the first round and a half here. Enough about that one. Lightweight division next. Moises versus Giagos. Moises is a minus 240 favorite. Giagos is a plus 205 dog. Man, this fight is kind of a head fuck, honestly. I mean, I think this is, pretty good matchmaking. But I'm not sure how Moises is such a favorite here when this guy just never really puts a stamp on fights. The most like emphatic win he's had is probably the Alexander Hernandez fight, in a fight he was like a 2-1 dog in. And he won all three rounds there. But this dude just doesn't pour it on, On the feet, he throws pretty medium volume. He doesn't really sit down on his shots. When he's grappling, he doesn't really look for the finish. He doesn't even proactively grapple that much for being a guy who comes from a grappling background. And then his like defensive wrestling, I think, is actually pretty, below average from what I'd expect from a grappler of his caliber. So I think Giagos can actually have some wrestling success here. But you think about Giagos is he's kind of a gasser. He does tend to slow down halfway through his fights, and his striking is really ugly, man. It's really basic. It's ugly. I think Moises is the much cleaner striker, and he's going to win the striking here. But it's going to be by the same, jab and circle and jab and leg kick. It's going to be non-damaging, non-lethal stuff that Moises is throwing. So I don't think Giagos is necessarily going to gas that heavily at that pace. So Giagos is live here to hit takedowns. I mean, one takedown in round one for Giagos, and he's going to be like plus 130 in the live line. And, I think Giagos is the side here. I mean, Moises laying chalk after he got destroyed by Alvarez. Come on, man. Get the hell out of here. Um, Giagos is not a guy you want a big bet on, but I think he's worth a small stab at over 2-1.
um, yeah, I mean, I lean Yagos being like good value here, but I just don't like the guy just doesn't control fights all that well. Tiago's training with my boy Grant Dawson, so he's getting some good looks in the gym. He's working with Gamrot too, who's on this
He's
card.
probably getting destroyed in that gym.
Yeah, probably. but maybe not as bad as you think. Because I mean, Grant's taking Moises. I mean, it's gonna be Grant and Tiago are gonna be the new Kobe and Masvidal. That's my prediction for the 155 pound of it. They're gonna run that shit, but probably not Tiago. But anyway, yeah, he just doesn't control fights that well. The thing with Moises is if Moises is trying, I mean, this guy's good. I mean, he's got great skills overall, right? He throws his kicks. If he's confident, he's, I'm not going to say a top, 10 lightweight, but like is very hard to look good against him. And like Yagos, let me see, what is this guy in decisions? Like what's his deal here?
Probably bad.
I
Probably like I
know,
would guess
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, I think it's very bad.
5-3.
5, oh,
Uh,
okay, it's
he
not as
did
bad.
win. He did win
8
a
and 3.
few.
He's 8 and 3 or whatever.
That's not bad. Better than
Yeah,
you'd
but the
expect.
thing is, like, he's been getting tired, I feel, and Moises, like, I think the more iterations of the fight play out is Yago's tiring out because either Moises is gonna have grappling success, and if he does, or is gonna make them grapple, and if he does, I don't think Yagos can keep up the pace. And then if that doesn't happen, I do think Tiago at some point turns up the pressure on the feet, and starts to look good. So what's the over under? It is
I would guess is -200. Oh no, it's -125. That's it.
minus 120. So you get pick 'em for the under, over under. I don't think Thiago Moises is submitting Yagos that easy. I'm gonna have to think about this one more and look at Yagos again on the ground. But I was kind of thinking maybe this goes over, goes the distance. But Yagos if he chin, but he's been at Sanford, I think, longer than his last fight. And he has been submitted a number of times, but it's been like, I don't know. I gotta look at the fight again, but I got no pick. I don't got a
No, you
pick.
gotta have a. You gotta have a. Yeah, no, I agree. Picking this fight isn't even worthwhile. I think it's
I'll pick.
probably
I'll pick Thiago Moises.
by decision, probably. Yeah, but I mean, bro, I didn't even look at that over in this fight. But come on, man, who's finishing this fight under two and a
Thiago
half?
Moises hasn't really submitted anyone good, dude.
He doesn't
Jeff
like to. He doesn't
Peterson
like to use his
and
jujitsu.
Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like I might have to play this over,
And,
dude.
like, the thing about it is
He
Moises' wrestling is kinda weak, man,
his wrestling's not good. Yeah,
yeah, so how
he
is
does
I
not
mean,
have good wrestling.
maybe Yaga yeah, I guess the most live finish here is probably Yago shooting his own way into a takedown, or I mean, into a submission. Like, he shoots and leaves his neck out
Yeah,
and gets
I
his
mean,
neck
I
snatched.
think I'm gonna play the over, and then if I lose because when these guys does something cool, like so be it.
Bro, Moises sub is +215, are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying.
These are bad
I'm not
odds.
sure. He's more of a guy too. Like I think he wants to just get a W. So like he might be the kind of guy like he won't go for the submit. Like you know
Yeah,
what
he
I mean? Like
cruises, man.
let's see, he goes for a guillotine. Like he'll try to sweep with it instead or do something like that. So yeah, I might have to take that over.
Yeah,
We're getting a little action.
and, moving on to the worst fight on the card, worse than Jinu Fry versus Demopoulos,
Main
heavyweight
card.
division. Alan Baudot -116, Parisian -104. Man, what kind of fucking charity fights is the UFC putting together
Listen,
here, Ozzy?
listen. I like this. I actually like this level of heavyweight fight. Honestly,
You sick fuck.
I actually like this level of heavyweight fight more. I like more than I like the Rosenstrike kind of level heavyweight fight because like as funny as that is to say, because like those guys like the what
That's
like
fair.
they
That's
think
fair to say.
they're trying to pretend that they're good, like they're relevant. Like fucking Badeau and Parisian aren't relevant, but they're fucking here to throw down. And usually, I mean, Parisian's last fight, it wasn't a good fight, but this guy's coming to bang, dude. Like at least like he's trying to finish the fights. Like I liked his contender series fight, how he did it. Mays fucking wrecked him bad, bad, bad. But he was just way too athletic for him. And I think like people think that the same thing could happen here in this fight, but just Alan Bados, he just is not it for me, man. Like I feel like yeah, Josh Breezen's not as good as Parker Porter, but like if he has any conditioning, just think he's in like I just think this guy's a French fry for anyone with conditioning. So I think Josh Friesen's aside, honestly. I think I'm gonna bet him as well because I just think he has. He, people could say like they think I don't know. Some people I've seen say that they think uh Baudot has more skills, but I actually think Josh Friesen is like a better MMA fighter overall. And like I don't think he has the same I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm gonna be betting Josh Parisian this weekend. That's all I'm gonna
You're
fucking
spitting
say.
facts, dog. I mean, this like
Like
what you said about that like
he's a real heavyweight, but Doe's a fake fighter, dude. This guy's not real. Like at heavyweight, he just I mean, come
yeah, it's like I mean, that was so accurate what you said. It's like these guys know how bad they are, and like
on.
they're
Yeah,
putting Rosenstrike in a fucking main event, acting like he's good. When we all know that there really isn't much of a difference between Badeau and Rosenstrike. I mean, if they
exactly.
fight tomorrow, like it's competitive. But yeah, I mean, you nailed the analysis too. Parisian, based on durability and just like having less quit in him and cardio, might win this fight. I mean, do you guys remember Badeau teed off on this guy Nascimento in round one, and then in round two, the same area of the fight where he was dominating, he just starts like melting, and then he's finished within seconds. Like I don't know what the hell happened there.
Dude, look at
But
people
like
need to
Parisian,
remember that before. Hold on, that before the Parker Porter fight, they were like saying like, oh, how one of his wins was like a DQ win. It was fake. And I mean, look at the fucking guys. This guy's beat, bro. There's no way he should be pick him here. Like, I think this is actually a gift line on Josh. Like, I
yeah.
actually do, bro.
Well,
I
I
actually
don't.
do.
I'm not as that committed because I think like Badeau will box him up for like a few minutes, but like he
He
will
fucking
implode.
sucks, dude.
He will implode. But what I'll say, what the only positive I'll give Badeau is I feel like the guy actually does have an idea how to defend takedowns. Like in the Nascimento fight and the Porter fight, he stuffed some takedowns early on there. But I don't even know if Parisian shouldn't even try to take him down here. Parisian, on the other hand, got taken down really easily by Mays, but Badeau is not taking him down. Yeah, I mean, I think Badeau will win round one, and everyone will think he's looking good, and then like I said, I think he'll probably melt again in these later rounds. I mean, the fact that
Yo,
Parisian
did you
has
watch? Did you watch the Parisian Parker Porter fight again?
no, I didn't actually.
Dude, that fight was
I
a
watched.
banger, dog. That was a good
I
fight.
remember him.
And
He had a lot of shit. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, they both ate a lot of shit, but that was a banger, dude. And Parker Porter needed takedowns. I mean, the thing, like the downtail maze fight has guys way too low on Parisian. Like on this heavyweight fight, dude. You tell me he can't be fucking Alan Baudot? Are you kidding me?
yeah. I mean, Mays would do the same thing, same exact thing to
Exact,
Badeau, but finish him quicker, way
easily.
quicker.
Easy,
Um,
and he was only plus 170 in that fight against Maze.
And then, yeah, so what I'm saying is Parisian has
Actually, he closed
won
lower.
around three. He has won around three, technically against Rogue Martinez. So that alone shows that he's going to be there for the fight. He's less of a quitter, better cardio. That alone is enough to take him. Because in a fight this low level, skill doesn't matter. It's about the intangibles. It's about the cardio and the durability and the will. And I think that that's all advantages the American here, Parisian. So I like it. You've convinced me. Maybe I'll throw a little wager. Not as big of a
Yeah,
wager as you.
Parisian has like almost double the fights, dude. This dude, Alan Baudot's 8-3. He's got 11 fights,
Yeah.
and this will be Parisian's 20th, and he's younger than him as well.
Look
And
out
they
for
got the same
look
reach.
for a live bet on Parisian here. This will be a
Fucking
good live bet
retarded.
spot.
This is dumb,
All
dude.
right,
Parisian's bigger than
co-main
him.
event time.
This
Co-main
makes no
event time. We got
sense.
to move on. Ozzy's really excited about Josh Parisian right now, but we
Yeah,
got to move
max
on.
bet, max bet.
Actually, a really good co-main event here. Welterweight division. Shavkat-Rakhmonov taking on Neil Magny, and we got Shavkat huge favorite minus 450. Magny plus 350 on the comeback, and I've got a lot of thoughts about this fight. Don't got a lot of
Yeah.
bets, but got a lot of thoughts. I mean, so right off the bat, is Shavkat is minus 450 here, which is a bigger favorite than he was in both of his past two fights against Harris and against what's the truck Prazeres. Um, so based on that alone, like he's over 80% against Neil Magny. Who is ever over 80% against Neil Magny? Has he ever been this much of an underdog like in his entire career? I don't think so. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum was the last time he was even this close to a big of an underdog, and this guy just makes fights close. He's such a weasel, like Ozzy likes to say. This guy is so good in decisions, 16-2 in decisions in lifetime, and he's just really good. I mean, at lulling these guys into clinch fights, into scrappy decisions. And how many times has Neil Magny lost round one, got hurt, loses round one, and then he comes back in round two and just pushes the guys against the cage, knees them, somehow pulls back 2 rounds and squeaks out a 29-20. This guy does it all the time. And I think that that's very live to happen here. Shavkat obviously looks like a really good talent. He has flashy striking, crazy kicks, nasty ground and pound. His ground and pound is his best attribute, I'd say. But he does have those big actions. He goes for those spinning back kicks or these big type of strikes to pull off a crazy finish. What happens if that doesn't work and we see him extended in the later rounds? Are we really sure that Shavkat has good like fundamental offense? Does he have a jab? Does he have the output to throw 60 strikes around? We haven't really seen that. We've seen him have really one-sided fights in the UFC so far. The biggest test that we've seen him face is getting pushed against the cage by Alex Oliveira or pushed against the cage against Carlton Harris. Like we have seen him get held against the cage. And what is Neil Magny great at? Pushing guys against the cage, making the fight boring, and just slowing the fight down to a grinding halt. And I think that that's a real possibility here. Now, Magny is known for kind of starting slow, losing round one, so I'm not sure if I'm willing to enter in on Magny before the fight, or maybe I should just wait to see a few minutes because Magny did get dropped by Max Griffin in his last fight, so it's possible that Shavkat touches the chin early, finishes him, and maybe waiting to live bet you can avoid some of that early and finish exposure from Rahkmonov. But man, I think outside of round one, this fight's going to get real competitive, especially when you consider Rahkmonov only been in round three one time, never been to the decision, hasn't been past 1.5 rounds in almost 3 years. So I mean, the guy's good. He's being he's running through people, he's finishing people, kind of similar to Chimaev. But this is a really big test, a big step up from Carlton Harris, and I'm not sure Rahkmonov deserves this over 80% here versus Neil Magny. So no chance on parlaying or betting Shavkat in any fashion. And I'm honestly hoping for Neil Magny to pull off the upset here. Your turn, Ozzy. What are we
Oh,
thinking?
my bad, my bad, my bad. Yeah, I mean, I think Shaved Cat is gonna knock Neil Magny the fuck out, his narrow ass. Yeah, I know good point on the spinning back attacks. It's hard to land a spinning back kick on a fucking narrow pole like Neil Magny is, but I think it's gonna land. Neil Magny, he's actually kind of like similar to Carlson Harris, right? I mean, it's kind of like a similar analog fight here between those guys. I mean, Neil Magny, the problem with him is like in space, he's just so bad. Like it's funny because he's so tall, but he does not know how to gauge distance early, and that's why he gets landed on. And he just is able to hold a steadier pace. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be funny. I'm trying to envision it in my head, with the model and stuff on how you know Magny's gonna be fucking chipping away and knee and shaved cat, in the second and third rounds. But I can't see it, man. I don't see it. Like shaved cat. I've told you multiple times, these Kazakhstan guys, they're insanely strong, and I just think that he's gonna fucking twist Neil Magny up, beat his ass, punch him. Like I think he's knocking him out. I think it's gonna be a bad knockout. I think it is actually gonna come from ground and pound. This one in particular, because Neil Magny low key, like you remember, people forget Neil Magny pulled guard on Robbie Lawler in the third round. People forget. People really that's a detail people really do forget. And he did that out of fear because this guy Robbie was coming for his fucking head. And that shit's gonna happen here, dude. Like a shaved cat is knocking Neil Magny unconscious. He is separating
I
him
don't know.
from his senses. I'm
With
telling
what
you
with
right
what
now.
kind of strike? What do you think he's gonna drop him with?
Hands.
I
Uh,
have not been remotely impressed with Shavkat's boxing. I really
he
don't
does
think it's
have
anything special.
Okay,
But
well,
then again, Max
have you
Griffin,
ever looked at Neil Magny's,
yeah,
defense?
that is a point. That is
You ever
a
take a
true.
look at that?
But like
So, yeah,
I mean,
Shaved
like, what
Cat
about Jeff Neal, bro? He survived. Jeff Neal is certainly a better
barely, dude, he
boxer.
was getting hit clean, dude.
Yeah, but he's got this way,
Easy.
bro. He's got this way of
Oh,
absorbing it.
dude, his way is he's going down. The odds are right.
What
I'm
about, so
not
you bet in
parlaying him.
Shavkat KO?
No, it's only +1 if someone nuked it, it was 210, but that is his side. I'll tell you right now, Shaved Cat KO is his side. I'm not gonna bet it, but I mean, I actually like the Baudot fight more than this one, but yeah, we could go to the main event.
I think I will wait to live bet because Neil's gonna go through a tough round one, but I really hope he's certain. Bro, wouldn't it be ideal to get plus 600 on Magny? He gets dropped, he gets nearly finished. Shavkat goes for the finish, he tires down 600 in between rounds, and Magny pulls off
Yeah,
another
I mean, the
Magny.
guy's what, 14-1 in decisions or
No,
14 and
16
2?
and 16 and 2. Yeah, he's insane.
16-2, yeah.
Um, All right, main event time. Fucking banger of a lightweight fight. We got two of Europe's finest, Arman Tsarukyan taking on Mateusz, the gamer Gamrot, minus 280 for Tsarukyan, plus 240 for Gamrot. Ozzy, I'm glad you're going first. Interested to hear your thoughts in this high level fight.
Great fight that they put together here. Obviously Armin is a force of nature. I mean, the guy's just been impressing me. Uh, I think from the beginning, from the obviously the Islam fight, but into the OAM fight, into the Davi Ramos fight where he takes on a guy in Davi Ramos, power puncher, jiu-jitsu guy, is able to show his really showed his boxing and his kickboxing and movement in that fight, and his ability to be able to take guys down and stay on top of them, and it was just very impressive to me. And then his recent fights, I mean, he's shown that he's an absolute killer. I love the kick counter that he landed on Yago. So similar to like what Yanez and Masvidal and those guys do, right? You throw a left body kick at him or at them, and they're answering with that left hook, right cross. And I mean, he didn't even need the right cross to put um Yagos's lights out. But I mean, this is a very interesting fight to me because of the 5 round aspect of it. And because of what I've seen from the ground and pound and the just overall power in the hands of Armin, because I mean, when I'm looking at Gamrot strikes, like he's not a guy who's really gonna dominate the striking. I think at any like ever against most people, not even just good strikers. So, but he'll take opportunities. Like he knows the angles that he's looking for, how he's looking to land his right cross and his punches. He can fight from both stances, but he's really looking to get takedowns overall later on, and then work from there. And Armin, I would say, is a stronger defensive wrestler than offensive wrestler. Like, I don't see Armin taking down Gamrot unless Gamrot is very fatigued. But I can see Gamrot taking Armin down, especially later on in the fight as well. Because Gamrot, I mean, his conditioning is very good. And Armin, I mean, he hasn't shown any faults in his cardio, but I mean, the guy, you see his physique is huge. Like this guy's massive. Like I just have doubts on the pace and just Gamrot's just such a cerebral fighter. He's so smart. He's been in wars. He's been in 5 round fights. He's been in fights at range. Like he's gotten his striking a lot better also. So I mean, I'm leaning towards the Gamrot side. I do think that Armin probably does win this fight though, just because, like I said, his offense is more potent. I think his defensive wrestling is pretty good, and yeah, he's got a great kick game as well. So I just think he has more tools to use right away. But I will be looking at to get in on Gamrot live, and I think that I have to play the over because I just don't see like Arm like I don't like if Armin is looking for fight ending sequences, like I don't think a prolonged like something like the Joel Alvarez fight is able to happen here. Like just Gamrot's is way too good on the ground, and way too good of a wrestler, grappler overall. So I'm just having a hard time seeing how the favorite here is finishing at that high of a clip. So inherently, I have to say the over and the goes the distance has to have value.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with there about the goes the distance, the over. I do really do see it going over. I mean, I would say that Sarukian is the slightly more likely one to finish inside the distance. But I still don't think the fight ending by finish is, like, more than 40% here, so I think the goes the distance is definitely the side to be on, but like I was saying earlier, when I think these goes the distances are 10% off or something, I'm usually, what is the phrase? Like, eating my hat or something, whatever the fuck, but I actually slightly disagree with your assessment of the wrestling dynamic here, Ozzy, because I think Tsarukyan I think is a really good offensive wrestler. Both are really good offensive wrestlers. But like, where have we seen Gamrot defend takedowns? He's really not. I don't know if there's any footage out there of guys defend or shooting takedowns on him. You might have to go to like some of his jujitsu matches to see his wrestling defense, but it's not exactly relevant just because it's such a different sport. So like there's proof out there of Tsarukyan's takedown defense. We saw he had really good balance. It was tough to take down versus Islam. So I feel like I don't think Gamrot's going to be a bad defensive wrestler and grappler. I just think that he is less proven in terms of defending takedowns. So if anybody is hitting more takedowns here, I do expect it to be Arman. And what I like about Armin's grappling is that I think he has much higher upside for controlling the fight once it hits the floor, and that's why I think it's tough to pick against him in this fight. That is Armin, because when he gets the fight on the floor, his chances of actually establishing that control and keeping that control are much higher than Gamrot's. Gamrot's top game is just not really there yet. I mean, I don't know if it'll ever be there, but he gets takedowns on guys. He just doesn't keep them down. But that evidence is mostly from two fights in the UFC against two really good defensive grapplers, Carlos Diego Ferreira and Guram Kutaladze. So maybe I'm being harsh on Gamrot. Maybe he does have better top game than I give him credit for. But with Tsarukyan's like scramble game and the way he defended those takedowns versus Islam, I don't see him getting held down here for long stretches. While I do see a possibility of Tsarukyan getting that control, getting that body lock against the cage. He loves kind of grinding fights out against the cage. The Frivola fight, he did a lot of that, and I mean his cardio looked phenomenal in that Frivola fight. I mean that was a high paced grappling fight. Frivola got up from a lot of takedowns, and every time Arman was there to just drag him right back down. I mean he was suplexing him in the third round there. So I see no reason to doubt Arman's cardio. But the cardio dynamic here, you would think maybe or should favor Gamrot because he's the one who has 5 round experience. He's been scheduled for 5 rounds 4 times. He's actually won unanimous decisions 5 rounds twice, and he has a finish in the fourth round too. So this guy's been in those deep waters while we haven't seen Arman in round 4 and 5 at all. Now, talking about the striking in this fight, I think it's going to be really close between these guys because I'm not super impressed with Arman's striking, honestly. I think his defense, especially, leaves a lot to be desired, and I think Gamrot is the much more comfortable fighter in a striking fight. We saw Matt Frivola come on strong and land some big punches on Tsarukyan at the end of round one, and it seemed like Tsarukyan didn't really want to mess around with the striking much more. He looked a little spooked versus Frivola. And same with OAM in their fight. He landed some really good strikes from the southpaw stance, some good knees and kicks from the southpaw stance, and he actually won a round off of Arman in the striking in that fight. So I think the striking is really even, maybe even a slight advantage to Gamrot here. So I mean, Arman is going to need those takedowns. He's going to need that control time to win. While I think Gamrot, could win the fight purely striking, or he could possibly get up from those takedowns.
You
And
like Gamrot striking better than Armin's?
I do actually. Yeah, I think I like the way he switches stances. I think he's comfortable boxing from both
I don't know, dude.
stances. And I think, yeah, I mean, Arman, bro, I mean, like I said, he's outstruck Giagos, he outstruck Davi Hamos, but he had trouble with Frivola, he had trouble with OAM. I haven't
I
seen.
just feel like when they're fresh, that Armin striking is superior for sure.
I don't know, man. I think
Like
Gamrot is
he
yet to
throws
really show.
combinations, he throws high kicks with the combinations. Like
That's true,
Gamrot
but
doesn't really throw that
Gamrot's got a
much.
decent body kick, and, I think the switching stances will kinda confuse Armani here, and when Gamrot gets going and flowing from that boxing stance, I mean, I think he's the better boxer. A lot more I trust his defense a lot better too. A lot of it has to do with defense. So, I mean, this is a great matchup. Both guys, they maybe shouldn't have been fighting each other too soon, like, maybe they could have gotten another, big build-up fight before getting to this one. But man, what a matchup. I think the odds are wide here. I don't put Arman at nearly 75%. I think maybe I don't know, 68, 70% is a little more accurate. But I hope Gamrot wins. I don't want another control grappler at 155. We had Khabib. We have Islam now. I don't want another guy who is taking people down and holding them down. We don't need that in this division. So I'm cheering for Gamrot, the gamer. I hope he can come through as the dog. Not going to really have any bets on the money lines, I think. Looking to live bet, obviously. And I agree with Ozzy with the over, the goes the distance. I think those are the sides to be on. And that'll do it. That'll do it for the podcast. Actually, goes the starts round 5 is probably the better line at -128. So that's probably a good line for the fight. That'll do it though for this podcast. Good fight night card. We talked for a good amount about some of these fights. That means it's time for our best bet parlay of the week, Ozzy. You've been winning yours lately. I haven't been winning mine. Actually, I think we've been both trading back and forth. Um, we haven't hit one collectively in a while though, so we need a fucking winner this week. You got a winner?
Yeah, I got Sergey Morozov money line winner.
That's a good one. Um, all right, I gotta think about my winner here. Um, hmm. I'm gonna go with the over in the Mario Bautista and Kelleher fight. This might be the first time, Ozzy, that I'm picking the over and you're going with the money line. It's usually the opposite way around. But if you parlay the two of them on Bet Online right now, -135 and -132, that comes out to plus 206. So that'll be our best Morozov money line,
Lock it up.
Bautista-Kelleher over 2.5. I like a lot of overs this week, honestly. I think, it's going to be kind of the opposite of last card. We're going to get a lot of decisions. And let's hope the reads are on point because we've been kind of struggling lately. We got to get a big week here. So thanks to everyone for listening. As always, Ozzy, any closing thoughts?
Nope.
Nope, Gemini season is over. We need some more narratives coming through for us, and we gotta turn this around. We're having a little bit of a rut here on the Martian and Ozzy podcast, but still giving hard hitting analysis as always. Still producing what I think is an entertaining podcast. Let's hope so. Thank you to everyone for listening. Make sure to keep liking and subscribing to all of our channels, and we'll see you all before the next UFC next week. Peace out, everyone.